Hey, welcome back to Desire Dialogues, the podcast where we normalize, celebrate, and sometimes laugh at the beautiful human things that our bodies do. So today we're going to dive into a topic that often sparks giggles, blushes, or just a quick desperate attempt to ignore what just happened. Queefing. Yep, vaginal flatulence, aka the vaginal fart. So, spoiler alert, it's completely normal, it's harmless, and sometimes it's even funny. So, let's bust some myths, break down the science, and take the shame out of queefing. All right, so what the heck is queefing? Queefing is simply air being released from the vagina. That's it. It's not gas from your digestive tract, it's not dirty, and it's not a sign that your body is broken. Sometimes it sounds like a toot, sometimes it's a soft squeak, sometimes it's a big ol' honk mid yoga class. And yeah, while we might feel embarrassed, what's actually happening in your body is that it's doing its natural thing. All right. The clinical term is vaginal flatulence, but let's be honest, most people don't use that, right? Some of the slang like vag fart, pussy toot, twat waffle, twat whistle, even vajayjay trumpet, right? People have been naming queefing forever, which is proof that it's been happening forever. So why does it happen? So why do our vaginas sometimes, sound like brass instruments? There's a few reasons. Pelvic floor factors, such as a weak or uncoordinated pelvic floor muscles. This could be after childbirth, injury, and aging. It can make it easier for air to enter and escape. Tension or dysfunction in these muscles can also impact control. Also, constipation or straining can add extra pressure. And then, how about some external factors, right? So, sexual activity. Positions that will create that suction in the vaginal canal are especially likely to trap air. Physical activities like yoga, Pilates, or stretching. Um, Menstrual products like tampons or cups can actually shift the air within the vaginal canal. And also hormonal changes, especially during menopause, since that affects the vaginal tissue elasticity. Some other situations could be postpartum changes, right? Recovery time for the pelvic floor. Um, there's also some other rare things, vaginal fistulas, which is an abnormal opening between organs, and that could cause air or fluid transfer. So here's where the science gets interesting. Very interesting here, right? Queefing isn't rare; it's very common. All right. In one study of nearly 1,000 women, about 20% reported queefing, and over half of them said it happened during sex. Among women with pelvic floor disorders, 35% reported queefing. For those with prolapse or stress incontinence, the number jumps to almost 70% reporting vaginal noises. And in another study of 570 women, about a quarter experienced queefing weekly, while around 23% said it happened daily or multiple times a day. So, if this has ever happened to you, you are far from fucking alone, all right? When to be concerned, all right? Most of the time, queefing is harmless, but if it's constant and also paired with other symptoms like a foul smelling discharge, difficulty peeing, pain, it's really worth checking with your doctor, okay? Um, Rare conditions can cause ongoing issues, right? But otherwise, it's usually just a body quirk, not a red flag. Always recommend talking to your physician. So, if queefing bothers you or makes you self conscious, there's a few options for you, all right? Breath work. When we do deep belly breathing, it helps relax and retrain the pelvic floor coordination. There's pelvic floor exercise that strengthen and coordinate your muscles. Those can help as well. I highly recommend to find out if from a pelvic floor physical therapist. Definitely get some professional support for personalized guidance if anything feels off to you. All right. When we do pelvic floor exercises, the way it's also called Kegel exercises, um, my suggestion would be to urinate before. Okay. Go and find a relaxing area to sit. Okay. And put your hand on your lower belly and you will squeeze all of the muscles in your vagina as much as you can, even right all the way back up to your anus. And when you squeeze, start with 10 seconds. You're going to exhale at the same time. So when you squeeze, you're exhaling. And then when you release, you inhale. I would suggest doing that, um, doing a few reps. So I'm going to say 10 reps per session. All right. Start with just one session a day. And you can work your way up from there and see how your body is feeling. So let's talk a little bit about a 2025 review. All right. I want to share something super interesting from a review in the sexual medicine reviews. The authors looked at both pelvic floor physical therapy and high tech non surgical methods for vaginal laxity, which is just a fancy way of saying like looseness in the vaginal tissues. They found that pelvic floor exercises, techniques like the neck, or even non invasive options like radiofrequency, ultrasound, and laser therapy actually showed promise. But the authors were clear that more high quality research is needed before we can say what works best. The takeaway, science is paying attention, and there are more options than ever if your pelvic floor health or queefing affects your quality of life, right? So here's where I want to slow it down. All right. So many women and vulva owners feel shame about the sounds that their body makes, whether it's queefing, lubrication, noises, or even orgasms. We've been conditioned to think sex should be silent, neat, and controlled. But real bodies, they're messy, they're noisy, and they're alive. So if it happens in bed, remember this: your partner probably doesn't care, or they're laughing right along with you. And laughter in the bedroom, that's intimacy too. So instead of shame, what if we saw queefing as a reminder that our bodies are dynamic, they're responsive, and they're real, right? So here's your bottom line: queefing's common, it's normal, and it's usually harmless. It doesn't make you any less sexy, any less desirable, or any less worthy of pleasure. Your body is supposed to make sounds. So next time you surprise yourself with a little trumpet solo, maybe applaud your body instead of silencing it. Thanks for tuning in today to this episode of Desire Dialogues. If this made you laugh, maybe ease some embarrassment, gave you some new knowledge, share it with a friend who could also use a little giggle. If you want to dive deeper, check out the research reference sheet linked in the show notes. And remember, pleasure is your birthright, noise and all. And I will see you next time, my friends. Be well, be happy, be pleasurable, and be loud if your body wants to.